Yeah, man. Man, have to thump off ball in a man. They're not really. But Steths are no pace to trouble nobody, sir. Welcome back to Steths in Santa Cruz. It's the Sparling Cup final between Steths and Excelsior 2025. Resuming after lunch. Excelsior, they are on 89 for 6. 89 for 6. Williams is going to be facing, is going to be receiving from Silvera. Silvera left arm over the wicket, and Williams just going forward. No intent really to play outside the off stump, and the keeper collects cleanly. No run, the ball is relayed to mid off. Doing some work on the ball, trying to maintain the shine. Silvera stretches his right leg. Apparently, something is not too well in that area. So, two slips, a gully, backward point, cover, mid off, mid on, and the man on the fine leg boundary. Scarlet, left arm, over the wicket. He jumps, delivers a ball that is rising out about waist height, and Williams is onto it, dropping it down in front of him. Silver picks up in his follow through, no run. So Steths should now be looking to get early wickets after the resumption and put themselves in a stronger position. 89 for 6. Silver to Williams. Williams is going forward, driving that down into the offside. No run. Keeps the score on 89 for 6 for Excelsior. Scott at the non-striker's end. He's on 19, I think. But he got a life. He should have been back in the pavilion. But that's the way cricket goes. When you get your chances, you have to take it. A packed offside field now. Two fielders on the leg side, man at a mid wicket, a short mid wicket position, and the fine leg on the boundary. Here comes Scarlett. Bowles and Williams is driving that, and he's going to get his first run. First run. 90 for 6 Excelsior. Williams has batted, I think, 26 deliveries, and this is his first run. Has been there from about 11:40. So that brings Scott to face. Some people want to think that the Steths pace bowling is not as potent as in former years. Silvera. Easy on the front foot, guided down into the gully area by Scott, and they can't get no run. Silvera is going around the wicket to the right-hander. Silvera could well be carrying an injury. I'm not too sure he's up to peak fitness. Here comes delivers, and Scott is just coming down on that Yorker length delivery, playing it back into the offside, and Scarlett picks up the end of the first over after lunch. 90. Excelsior on a 90 for 6. Had a good start this morning. The first wicket went down at 44, and the way they started, you would have believed that they would not have lost so many wickets, and the score would have been much higher. But the Steths Quicks didn't bowl as well as they should. They were all over the shop, short outside the off stump, and the Excelsior batters really welcomed that kind of bowling. Played some exquisite shots through the covers and pulls and hooks through the leg side. But even when things seem to be going good for a team, things can happen. And that is exactly what happened to them. They lost their first wicket at 44 and have been struggling to put runs on the tins since that. No. They've just added one run since the lunch interval, and here comes Brown now from the main road end. Failed to deliver that. The umpire signals dead ball. Brown again, right arm off spin. Over the wicket comes to Williams. Williams is on the back foot, pushing that down into the middle off region. Ball is traveling too quickly to the fielder for them to get a single. I like him. His mental approach, you know. Brown again. Pitching that one up, and it's beaten outside the off stump. The keeper collected, but elected not to remove the bails because the batter was still in his grounds. Jamara Reed for Steths. He let one go, one that he should have taken. But other than that, I think he has kept reasonably well. The helmet has come out. Are they going to have a short leg? It would seem so. They're going to have a short leg to the right arm off spinner. Here he comes now. Brown from the main road end. Short. Not troubling the batter at all. It was just on the back foot, dropping that in front of him. Keeper came around, picked up, tossed it back to Brown.
Yes.
Oh, that was a bad delivery shot outside the leg stump, and Williams was able to get it away into the backward square leg region. Only one. They got only one. That was poor running. If they had hustled, they could have put the fielder under pressure and probably got a second run. But they threw the first one. Williams probably was just in the frame of mind to get away from the bowling, and that brings Scott now. He will face Brown. On the back foot goes Scott, dropping that one. Screw the wicket on the offside. Keeper collects,
Keep it tight. Keep it tight.
tosses it back to Brown. And that one is hit way down into the onside. The man from mid wicket running around to pick that one up. They got only a single short delivery. Brown and Scott trying to go over the top, I think. Didn't time it quite well, and probably luckily for him, it didn't go straight to the fielder. They got only a run. So that was the end of the over. Scarlett is going to continue in as much as I think he is having a little niggle there.
So welcome back. The after lunch session. And after the 34th over, Excelsior 92 for 6.
So 92 for 6, Silvera will continue from the pavilion end and he will be bowling to Scott. Full end delivery. And that one is flicked into the mid wicket area. It's hustling out to the boundary. Will it get there? It gets there now. 4 runs. Full length delivery on or about the leg stump, and Scott was into it and just playing that through the square leg area into the boundary. 4 runs.
Scott like that. Yes, almost William.
Silvera again. Forward comes Scott into the covers, and they get a no run for that. Let me give you his score in a moment. Scott is on 27, equaling the score of Duar. No, not Duar. That Daly. So they're joint top scorers so far for Excelsior. Silvera again to Scott. Shot delivery. Scott is just behind that one, pushing it down in front of him. And no run. Silvera picks up. Silvera will definitely have to think about his line and length because it's not troubling any of the batters at all. Probably have to think about more Yorker length deliveries. First day of this Spalding Cup final. 3 days, 2 innings. So Scott believes that he has all day to bat. Silvera now running away from the pavilion end. Around the wicket, pitching that one up, and there's an appeal for LBW, but the umpire shakes his head. And they get no run from that one. It's picked up in the offside. Relayed to the captain at mid-off, trying to preserve the shine on the cricket ball. Tosses it back to Silvera now, who will turn around any moment now to continue to bowl to Scott. Scott is playing that down into the mid wicket area. Can't get any run from it. Scott seems to be the only batter who's intent on playing some attacking shots. Williams has been there for quite a while and he's just going along. He's on 6 so far. 2, he's on Williams. Okay. He got the 4 that was played by Scott. Scott is driving out outside the off stump. Reed tried to throw the stumps down, but I think Scott was in his ground. The end of another Silver over. 96 for 6. Excelsior. A mini fight back, I would say. How many overs? Let me see. Overs. 35. 35 overs.
So at the end of the 35th over, Excelsior 96 for 6.
To the Spear, they have put on 23 runs. The second highest partnership from the opening partnership of 44. Looks like Brian now. So ball to Williams from the main road end. First delivery played into the offside. They're not able to get a single. Brian again. And that was outside the off stump. Williams was on the back foot, pushing that down into the gully region. They go through for a single. Pushes Excelsior's total up to 97 for 6. Excelsior 97 for 6. Captain of Steths, Derek Bryan, will now continue to bowl, and he'll be bowling to Scott. And Scott is going forward, leaving that outside the off stump. Here comes Brian again. Short delivery, and he's on the back foot, banging that through the offside. They go through for 1. They'll definitely come back for the second. Here comes the return, and they're comfortably home. Derek Bryan, the skipper of Steths, is not really creating any problems for the batter. He's been short of a length most of the times outside the off stump. And if he continues like that, you can only say he's going to be giving away runs. Here he comes again to Scott. Short again. And he's flicking that on the leg side. They try to go through for a single, and there must be a run out now. Definitely a run out. Williams never allowed the ball to get past the fielder in the mid-off position. Hustled down on Scott. Scott recognized that there was no chance of a single. Sent Williams back, but there's no way he was going to get back. The ball was returned to Tarek Bryan at the bowler's end, and he removed the bails easily. So another wicket down for Excelsior. Their 7th wicket. They are now at 99. 99 for 7 Excelsior. Waiting to see who the new batter is. He's just exiting the pavilion. So the new batter is Kefense Spencer. And I want you to pronounce his name correctly. Kefense.
I score sure.
99 for 7. That's where Excelsior
All right, so
are at the moment.
so the Williams gone for 3. Score is 99 for 7. Celsius. The batsman is defense Spencer.
Scott again playing that one down into the leg side, the end of the over. Excelsior 99 for 7. So at 26 run partnership for the seventh wicket.
So at the end of over number 36, Excelsior 99 for 7. DeMarco Scott on 29.
Silvera to continue from the pavilion end. He'll be bowling to Spencer.
Hey, Abs, get rid of scope someone. Yes.
See how Spencer will fare against Silvera. Bowls and he's driving it outside the off stump and misses. The keeper collected quite cleanly, but the ball is really not going through at the height that he would have wanted. He was shouted at to come in a couple paces, the wicketkeeper. He has done that, but still the ball is not getting to him above knee height. Based on how it is playing, could prove difficult for Steths when they try to reply to the Excelsior first innings. Silver again. Call of no ball that was just driven out into the covers. Umpire stretches right hand out, indicating that it was a no ball. Umpire is indicating to Silver that he overstepped. The law says that you must get something behind it, grounded or raised, or it's going to be a no ball. Scarlet. Silvera should say to Spencer that when he's driven the covers. Spencer looks as if he's ready to go at the bowling, not like Williams who just got himself out. And he's been there for ages. and could only muster 3 runs. Silvera doing some stretching could well have a little problem. Defensive Spencer facing Silvera, who's coming from the pavilion end. Passes the umpire, jumps, delivers, and is driving that into the offside. They go through for a single, and from the shot was played, they decided that it was only going to be 1 run, and I think they could have got 2. But probably Spencer wanted Scott on strike. Silvera again. Over the wicket and bowled, and that is hit through the leg side into the boundary through square leg. 4 runs. Scott seems to be the most attacking batters that Excelsior have sent out into the middle. He plays his shots, takes no chances. When the bad deliverers come, he certainly put them away. And with just 3 fielders on the leg side, Silvera cannot afford to stray down the leg side. Coming again, if the umpire is stopping him. What for? Not sure. If you're going to be having 3 fielders on the leg side, you must be bowling on or about the off stump, and you can't be short either because you can be pulled through square leg. Silvera driven into the offside, no run. Scott practicing a front foot drive. Silvera going back to his mark. Running in now. Over the wicket to Scott. Scott is driving that through mid off and is running away to the boundary. Will the fielder be able to get there? Yes, he stops it and they come back for. I can't believe it. They just got a single. Oh, they're giving the strike to Scott because he's the one doing the attacking. Spencer not in any mood to face many more deliveries because probably believes he's not as capable a batter as Scott. Good thinking. Score goes up to 106 for 7. So Scott, who has moved up to 34, is going to be facing Tarek Bryan again.
27 over. 106. 7. With Scott on 34.
I don't think Bryan is as effective as Brown, who used to bowl from that end, come up and just turning over his hand. Scott is pushing that down into a short mid-arm position, not thinking about a single at all. Bryan is very slow through the air, but I think he should push that up, probably holding it back. Yes, and he's done that. That's a brilliant catch. I was expecting that ball to go way down to long off, but it came off the inside of Scott's bat to a short mid-wicket position, and Binns went to his right full length and took a magnificent catch. I believe that was the only way they were going to get not Binns. Oh, Littleton. Oh, Littleton. Yes, under that yellow broad hat there, Littleton. A very good catch indeed. So it's now 106 for 8. And they got rid of the troublesome Scott. And he was caught for, I'll soon get his score for you. But I think probably this is the end of the fight back for Excelsior. Because Scott was there, he played a sensible knock. As a matter of fact, he's the top scorer. So Scott 34. Scott made 34, brilliantly caught by Littleton.
You pass my wallet.
So Malik Walters is the new batter. He's on the red helmet. He's going to be facing the Steths captain, Tyreek Bryan. And here comes Bryan now. Delivery well pitched up, but he just decided that he wasn't going to take any chances. First delivery, Walters just pushed it into the offside. Here comes Bryan again. Walters comfortably forward. Not the best of technique, but good enough to keep out Tyreek Bryan from that delivery. Here comes Bryan again. Forward goes Walters. Just dropping it in front of him. No intent on any shot at all. No shot. Bryan to Walters. Short, and Walters is watching that one go outside the off stump. End of the over. Successful over by the Steths captain, Tyreek Bryan. Bryan got the wicket of Scott, who was putting up some resistance. Scott, he made a 34, top score so far for the Excelsior team, as they are 106 for 8. Silvera will continue. He will be bowling to Spencer. Spencer has on a pair of red gloves and he's under the dark colored helmet. I do not understand this field. Two slips, a gully, point, cover. Stopped by the umpire, that is Silvera. Is asking somebody who is behind the bowler's arm to move away. Didn't want to mention that because they should know better, but he has to attack this batter on the offside. With two fielders on the leg side, he cannot afford to stray. Silvera around the wicket now. Ball to Spence and he's swinging out outside the off stump, misses. Tomorrow Reed, the keeper, collects. The ball is now relayed. The field is on the offside and it's going to come to the captain. He adds some perspiration to it, trying to maintain the shine, and tosses it back now to Silvera. Silvera to Spencer. Is driving that down the offside. Lovely looking shot, but the man at mid off was in the way and they couldn't get a single. So two slips in a gully, backward point, mid off cover, a straight mid off as well. Man short mid wicket on the leg side, and there's a fine leg on the boundary. Silvera comes in, bowls to Spencer, and Spencer is driving that one again, and it goes into the covers. Can't beat the fielder, and no run is added. Silvera again to bowl to Spencer. Spencer is driving that one early through the offside. They can only get a single. I'm hearing shouts of only one, only one. They had one run out already. That of Williams. They cannot afford a second one at this juncture, where Excelsior they are 107 for 8. Still two fielders on the leg side. Walters now to face Silvera. He's driving that back into the offside. Not enough venom in that shot to get past the man in the covers. So they get nothing out of that. Still no change in the field. Walters to face. Silvera, short delivery down the leg side. You can't have two fielders on the leg side and you're bowling short down the leg side. You can't afford to stray. You must be honor about the off stump. You have to get him to play because you have two slips of gully and a backward point. So it's the end of another Silvera over. Let me see if there will be a change. Looks like Tariq Brown, the skipper, will continue from the main road end.
So Excelsior 107 for 8 after 39 overs.
Well, they have 2 days and yes, But Excelsior don't want to think that they have to bat out the whole of this day, but with just 2 wickets in the pavilion, I don't think they will be able to do that. Played out into the covers
Spencer at a face.
by Spencer. Came delivery from Tyreek Bryan. Absolutely nothing in it, and he's pitched that one up, but it's driven into the offside, into the extra cover region. Bryan again to Spencer. He's tossing that one up, and it's hit way over long off, and the umpire raises both arms to them, indicating that it is 6 runs. Tyreek Bryan pitched on a up. He never knew that Spencer was going to go at it. He went at it, and that resulted in 6 runs. Bryan's bowling is, to my mind, very, very tame, not creating any problems for the batter. Here he comes again, tossing it up, and missing outside the off stump is Spencer. Played and missed an ungainly looking shot, by the way. Tyreek again. Oh, that was just pushed into the covers. But that six is a six of a bowler who gave that ball a long handle. Bryan again. Short. No threat whatsoever. Played back to the offside, the end of the over. Excelsior now they are at 113. 113 for 8.
So 40 overs completed, and Excelsior 113 for 8.
Well, there's a change in bowling from the pavilion end.
All right, Scott a ball.
So the new bowler from the pavilion end is Delante Scott. And an attacking shot played by Walters. But Scott is a medium height, medium pace, skiddy kind of a bowler. It will skid on to you. It will. He has the ability to keep it low. Here he comes again. And there's an appeal for LBW, but not serious enough to warrant the positive attention of the umpire. He shook his head to indicate now that that could be out LBW. So Scott, Delante Scott from the pavilion end, passes the umpire and he bows, and that one is just guided down into the gully region by Walters. No run coming from that shot. Delante Scott again to bowl to Walters. Walter is driving that one into the mid wicket region. They go through for single, they come back for the second. These tail end batters seem as if they want to take on the Steths bowling, and if they continue in the positive vein, they'll probably get to 150. And 150 could be a problematic on this pitch if it keeps playing as it is. Delante Scott. That played in the air. Let's see back. The fielder settles under it and he takes it. So Walters, he goes caught in the covers of the bowling of Delante Scott. Looks like he made two, so the score now is 115 for 9. So Walters, two, part of the bowling of Delante Scott, and he made only 2 runs, so 115 for 9. And if you came here earlier this morning and then left, you couldn't understand why Excel says 115 for 9 because they were 44 before they lost their first wicket. So the new batter is going to be Welch. He is Jay Welch. Not so sure what the J is for. Joshua. Probably he can ask his son to stand still today so that his team can make over 150. They've taken the water break at the fall of that wicket. Just one ball remaining in the over.
Walters for 2. Score is 115 for 9. With the defensive Spencer on 9.
The ground staff remarking the creases, sweeping off any loose dirt that is on the pitch.
So 115 for 9. As the new batsman, Joshua Welch.
I would take it. What's that? Smith?
So they're back from the water break with just one delivery to conclude this over by Delante Scott. And he will be bowling to the new batter, Joshua Welch. That one went down the leg side. Never caused any problem for Joshua Welch. And the score at the end of that over is 115 for 9. Looks like we're having a change in bowling from the main road end.
Brian still on.
Tyreek probably got me because he was remarking his run up. He's going to be bowling to Walters. That's left arm, right arm over. Tyreek bats left handed and bowls right handed. Sometimes you wonder what sort of physiological matter caused that. Brian again. Coming back for the second. Oh, the fielder didn't pick up well at all. Must have fallen asleep down there in that deep mid wicket position. Whoever that fielder is, I think it is. I think he's way too far on that boundary. Should be about 3/4 of the way. Brian comes again. Short delivery on that. That's pulled straight to the man at square leg. Did it get to him? Apparently, must have because Brian is upset. Brian to Walters again. Walters is definitely in the mood for attacking outside the arch stump. Walters has indicated that he can clear the boundary. Derek Bryan outside the off stump. Bouncing delivery. Walters pushed at it, didn't get in touch, and it went through to the wicket keeper. I said before that he should be 3/4 of the way to the boundary. But the captain apparently has not seen that, and the score goes up to 118 for 9. Delante Scott to Walters to Spence. Oh, that looks expensive. True. The other man is Joshua Welch, stockier than Spencer. Spencer is definitely going to be going for his shots now. You do not have anybody on the mid on or mid off boundary. No long on, no long off. And in as much as Delante is a medium pacer, I am sure that Spencer is going to have a go at him. Scott comes in now. Ball to Spencer. Down the leg side. Two fielders on the leg side and it's still straying. I think he's trying to bowl too fast. But Steths would be well served to have a man beside the square leg umpire. But anything is pitched outside the leg stump, and if they get a touch onto that, the man at fine leg will have a whole lot of running to his right. And so the man at mid on. A swing and a miss outside the off stump. Score remains on 118 for 9. Steths really look a little bit lethargic in the field though, as Scott comes in to bowl. Short delivery, and that is played down into the leg side. Did it come off the pad? Could have, but they didn't take a single because they're not sure that Welch can survive two deliveries. Excelsior 118 for 9. Steths should be seeking to wrap up the tail right about now as Delante Scott runs in. That delivery just played into the mid-on area. Fielder is fooling around with it. He has not picked it up. Scott goes back to his mark. One delivery remaining in this over from Scott. And will Spencer try to steal a single to get back on strike? Let us see what Delante Scott does. Passes the umpire and he bowls, and Scott is trying to get that one away, but it peels off the outside of the bat and goes into the gully region. It can't get a single, and that leaves Joshua Walsh to face Brian. If the skipper is going to continue, that was a maiden over from Delante Scott. Let us see if Brian is going to continue. Hands his hat to the umpire, so that means he's going to be bowling again, coming from the main road end. Will this be his final over as he's bowling to last man, Joshua Welch? Sometimes the last man standing will put up a fight that you never would have expected.
Yes, sir.
Brian. Welch not intent on any aggression. Just play that down into the offside. Brian again. Playing and missing outside the off stump as well. So keeper removes the bails, but Welch had not left his ground. And he practices his backward defensive stroke. Brian again. And that hits him on the pad. There's no appeal. No run coming from that delivery. So this is the fourth ball of this over the foot delivery. Shot, and he hits that one down to long off. The long off fielder moved pretty late. Pretty late. And I'm sure had he moved earlier, he would have been in a position to attempt a catch. Must have fallen asleep down there. 119 for 9. Will he be able to take it? No, it bounces in front of the man on the deep wicket, the deep mid wicket boundary. I believe that he's too far back on that boundary. Should be about three quarters of the way.
I don't adjust it. You just adjust it now.
Forward defensive comes uh, Welch, and that's the end of the over. So the score is 120 for 9. 120 for 9. Excelsior.
Over. It's 120 for 9. Excelsior.
I'm thinking that that is not the field that should have been set for the tail enders. See, need a man in that mid wicket region. That is where this shot was played by Spencer, but he doesn't want to expose Welch, so he did not take the single. Welch is waiting for the ones that he can drive through the offside into the boundary or over the top of mid off or mid on. I'm sure if Delante Scott pitches up, he's going to be driven. Here he comes again. He passes the umpire, and he bowls, and that's a short delivery outside the off stump. It's banged into the offside, and they can't get by the fielder who is in the point region, and no run. Steths should be thinking of wrapping up the tail now with just Spencer and Welch. Here comes Scott. And that one is outside the off stump, and Spencer is driving it and missing. Scott again to Spencer. Spencer is driving that one through the covers. They're not able to get through. There was a chance for a run out, but Welch got back in time. Spencer drove that one into the extra cover region. They thought about a single. Ball was well stopped, picked up. There was no one at the border's end to effect a run out. However, the batters remained in their grounds. And the score now still remains at 120 for 9 Excelsior. Scott to Spencer. And that one is down the leg side. Spencer tried to flick that through the square leg region, didn't get a touch. And the keeper Reed moved to his left smartly, stopped it. He's down. Oh, nothing seems to be wrong with him. He's up again. Spencer is on 10. Pretty comfort fight. And there's an appeal for LBW. The umpire says not out. Final delivery from Delante Scott's over. End of that over. Brian seems to be the one who's going to be continuing from the main road end. But I think that he should bring back Brown from that end. Is there a change in bowling? There's a change in bowling from the main road end. Certainly,
Brown. That Brown come back.
Scott. Oh, it looks like Dimitri Binns is the bowler from.
Brian take a pull.
Yeah, the skipper has decided to take himself off because he's not as penetrative as he would like to be. First, first delivery from Binns had a Welsh driving outside the off stump, wanting to go over the top. Binns again. Short, and that is having Welsh trying to push that through the offside. He was on the back foot, he missed it. I have the feeling that if that is tossed up by Binns, it could well find itself into the main road. Binns again, short delivery. Welsh coming forward, just pushing that down into the offside. Man from covers ran in and picked up. Binns again. Binns need to keep that one up. He's afraid of being hiked over long off, but he should keep that up. And it does so, but it's outside the off stump, posing absolutely no danger. Well, just watched it go through to the keeper, Reed. Here Binns comes again. And that one is up into the air, falling well short of long arms. But they're not moving. The feelers on the boundary, they are not moving until the ball is played. So if it is going to be short, it makes it that more difficult for them to get to it to effect the catch. So Spencer now to Binns, and if Binns comes up, this is going to travel. Short, and he's on the back foot and banging that down to wide along on. Fielder comes on, picks up, and it's the end of the over. That change is not really effective at all. I think they should have brought Brown back into the attack.
And 22.
So 122 for 9, Excelsior.
And of the 46 over. Score is 122 for 9.
I think if they carry it up to 150, Steths will be in a little spot of bother because this pitch is going to be playing low. Unless when it's their turn to bat, they put the heavy roller on it, and any little moisture underneath it will become. But I doubt if there's any moisture. They've brought back Silvera from the pavilion end. The Lante Scott is off. Silvera is back on. I am not sure that that is the card change. Oh, they've decided that no, it shouldn't happen. They've changed their minds, and Delante Scott is back on to bowl. Scott to Spencer. That is way down the leg side. That looks like wide indeed. Umpire stretches both hands out. Two fielders on the leg side, and he's bowling down the leg side. I cannot understand.
There's one way.
I thought Scott was indicating to the umpire that he's going to come around. Yes, he's going to come around. But he still, to my mind, needs a man in the square leg region. Scott around the wicket to bowl to Spencer. And no one in the straight mid-arm position, and it's slapped into the boundary for 4. 4 runs by Spencer. He should not have gone around the wicket with two fielders on the leg side, and they was driven straight into the mid-on boundary. Now they've decided to put a man in the mid-wicket area. But I don't think Scarlett should be in that fielding position because he probably is carrying an injury and he is not moving as well as I think he should. Right where I thought they should have put the fielder, they did, and he probably saved 2 runs in that mid-wicket region. I think Steths they are losing the play now. 127 for 9. Scott again to Spencer. Nothing came of that delivery. Spencer had a swipe at it, missed. I think that Steths they might have given away at least 20 runs with their field placing and their inaccurate bowling, and they may regret that. That delivery hit the pad, but not creating any excitement on the field. No chance of an LBW decision going against Excelsior there. 127 for 9.
Yes. Why are you bowling on the wicket? Why are you bowling on the wicket?
Good question, coach. Coach is asking Scott why he's bowling around the wicket. Has not given the coach an answer and continues to bowl around there. So let me see what Spencer will do with that delivery. And he's bowled him! Leg stump knocked back. So he has vindicated his decision to continue bowling around the wicket. And had Spencer clean bowled. 127 all out. Excelsior. Last man Spencer bowled by Delante Scott.
Spencer makes 17.
Welch was left not out on 2. Still, my belief that Steths they gave away at least 20 runs.
We agree to agree.
End of Excelsior.
That's why we agree to agree.
Innings.
We agree to agree.
And
127.
score is
We agree to agree.
127.
127.
All out. Not out. Spencer.
Defense Spencer.
17. So 127. All out. Excelsior. First is score.
Steths will start their reply. Tyreek Bryan and Tomorrow Reed. Tomorrow Reed will open the innings. Bryan, the skipper, will face, and Gray for Excelsior will be taking up the attack from the pavilion end, the southern end. 127. You have to make 128 to get first innings. And they're going to be starting with spin. Two slips, short leg. Here comes Gray. And Bryan is just comfortably forward. No no problem with that shot. I just want to see how the pitch will play. Second delivery not creating any problems for Bryan. That's from Gray. Steths not off the mark, replying to 127. All out made by Excess. Here comes Gray, shot outside the off stump. Bryan is offering absolutely no shot to that one. He just watches that into the hands of the keeper. Excelsior starting off with spin. Bryan comfortably forward, pushing that into the offside. And there is no run. Gray again. To Bryan, the skipper, coming forward. Actually going backward and playing that one into the mid-off region. Bryan, the skipper, is the left-hander wearing the gold-colored cap. Here comes Gray. Over the wicket, and Bryan is forward. Similar shot. No problem at all.
Lazy man. Don't man, I love running.
End of the first over.
Then I love running. As I said, I want to start my guy and turn over. Easier. Less work. Countryman love work.
So Nikolai McKenzie will be taking up the attack from the main road end. And he'll be bowling to Yumaro Reed. So the swan slip, a short leg, backwards square leg, the man in short mid wicket position, a man on the mid wicket boundary. Reed is just going forward to that one outside the half stump. And no shot offered. So, to Reed just coming forward to that delivery from Mackenzie. Steths net not yet off the mark. This is the second over. Forward goes Reed again. There's a misconception that many school boys can play spin, so probably that is why Excelsior they have started out Mackenzie again, and the Reed is playing that coming forward. It's running down into the third man region. They go for one, they come up for the second. The throw comes in, but they're safely home. So Steths off the mark with two. Mackenzie to Reed. Reed is driving at that, missing outside the off stump. So it's the end of the second over. Stetson replied to Excelsior's 127 allowed. They are two without loss. Continuing now with Gray from the pavilion end. He has a short leg, two slips, cover, extra cover, long off, mid on. That's driven down to mid off, and they go through for an easy single. Steths 3 without loss. Replying to Excelsior's 127. Short delivery outside the off stump. Reed is just coming gently forward, pushing it into the mid off region. No run. 3 without loss. In their reply, forward goes again. There's a little bit of excitement, but nothing to warrant the umpire's intervention. There's an appeal. Umpire Brown shakes his head. Gray goes back to his mark. Reed facing Gray from the pavilion outside the off stump that is paddled around into the backward square leg region. It's going into the boundary. It gets there now. 4 runs. Lovely sweet shot by Reed. So the score goes up to 7. Steths in reply, 7 without loss, chasing 127. 128 to get first innings. Gray is really upset. Really upset because they put Reed down. You can't afford to be missing chances so early in your opponent's innings.
But I come forward, take it like in a short.
Probably he wasn't too sure of that one at all. Luckily for him, he got a life. So Mackenzie from the main road end, he'll be bowling to Tariq Bryan, the skipper. Bryan on 1, Reed on 6. Mackenzie to Bryan. Bryan is going back, playing it down the pitch on the onside. And no run. Mackenzie again to Bryan. Shot, and Bryan is hitting that one through the midway area. They go for one. When they come back for a second, they're jogging. It's not as if they're wanting to put the fielding side under pressure. Should have taken 2 for that, but they got only 1, so Reed is back on strike. Reed is going long forward. That long forward, if the ball should pop up on him, he will have no control of it. Could just play it into the hands of short leg. Mackenzie again. And Reed is driving that one. It's going through mid wicket. They've take one. They've decided against the second. As the throw comes, good throw into the wicket keeper. Outside the leg stump, but Bryan is trying to sweep that back with the square. No contact. There was an appeal. Umpire decides that he didn't get any touch. Back down the pitch to the bowler. This delivery by Bryan. So the end of another over. Steths, they are 9 without loss. Gray coming back.
All right, so welcome back to the Steths Sports Complex. After 4 overs, Steths are 9 without loss.
Here it comes again. Reed is flicking that back of the square. They go for a quick single. Fielder picked up quite well, but they were too quick for the fielder. The batters went through for an easy single. Score goes up to 10. 10 without loss. Defensive goes Tariq Bryan, playing that down on the onside. No run coming from that. Into the offside. No run coming from that one. So Brian again. Umpire is having a conversation with Gray, not sure what they're talking about. Gray to Brian. Offering no shot. Brushed the pad as it was going through. There was a half-hearted appeal. Strange enough from a man at almost at backwards square leg. How could he have seen or judge an LBW decision from that position? But the umpire would have none of it. Great to Brian. Brian is swinging that backward of square. It goes to the square leg region and it rushes into the boundary just about now. The umpire signals 4 runs. Lovely shot from the left-hander. So 14 without loss. Steths in reply. Chasing 128 for first innings. When they make the 128, they would have had first innings. Excelsior actually made 127 all out.
Second over for
Mackenzie now.
Class 5. Third over Class 5.
They go through for a quick single that play down into the gully. Well judged single by Reed and Brian. Tyreek Bryan under the left, under the yellow cap, is the captain, and Reed under the helmet, he is the wicket keeper, Imara Reed. So the score goes up to 15. 15 without loss. Steths. Remember, Excelsior lost their first wicket at 44. They were going very well. Just on the back foot now is Brian playing that down into the offside square of the wicket.
Yeah.
Mackenzie again. Shot and Brian is sweeping that back on the square. Goes into the boundary now. 4 runs. If you're going to be bowling to the left-hander, you have to be on or about the middle and off stump. If you come outside this leg stump with no one on the fine leg boundary, the man at square leg is going to be chasing for all his worth. He did exactly that, but wasn't able to overhaul it. And Brian adds 4 more to his total. Score is 19 without loss.
Mackenzie 1.4. 19.
Mackenzie again to Brian. Brian is going forward. Half-hearted appeal by the man at point. Brian is driving that one over. That's through the offside. Wide of the man at mid-off, and it goes into the boundary. A lovely shot. 4 more to Brian. Score goes up to 23. 23 without loss. The captain, Tyreek Bryan of Steths, he will have to stay there and bat until they get as close to that 127 as possible. It's coming forward. There's an appeal for a stumping. He stretched, but he was still in his ground. The umpire coming now to repair the stumps. Brian is walking away to square leg because he knows that he's not out. So we have a change in bowling from the pavilion end. Scott, the man who made the top score for Excelsior.
When I replace Gray.
Yes, he has replaced Gray from the pavilion end. Spin also, but slow bowling. We're not sure the ball is spinning yet, or that he has the ability to spin it. Let us see. Right arm over. Reed just stop that one. Just drop the bat on it and they roll out onto the offside. The man has slipped, moved around, straight back to Scott. Scott again. Apparently, he's a batter who can bowl, or he's a bowler who can bat. Scott again to reach short, and Reed is just coming forward and rolling it back down the pitch to Scott. Nonchalant, he picks up, rubs the ball on the right side of his trousers, delivers again short, and Reed coming forward. Could have punched that through the offside, but because he was in the defensive shot from early, he just stopped it, and the man on short leg picked up. It's coming on the front foot very early. Shot and banged into the covers. He was leaning back and playing that shot, went into the covers, couldn't pass the fielder, and no run. Again, driving that down to mid off, they go through for a quick single. So the score goes up by 1 to 24, 24 without loss. So Scott is pushing back a man close to the midway boundary. He has a mid-on, mid-off cover, extra cover, a man to the right of the umpire at point. And first slip is way back. The man at short leg crouches now. And that is driven down the ground to mid-on. And they go through for a quick single. 25 without loss. Steths in reply to Excelsior's 127 all out.
Steths. 25. No loss. After 7 overs, chasing a first inning score leading by Excelsior 127.
Scott to continue is over.
Mackenzie continue.
Oh, Mackenzie. Down to mid-off and they get a single. Scott fooled me because he was still at his mark, the bowling mark, and I thought that he had a delivery left in the over. But it was really the end of his over. So the score moves up to 26. Without loss, Mackenzie comes in again to bowl to Reed. Reed is driving out outside the off stump, misses. The keeper picks it up, throws it up as if he had an edge, but it was just in his enthusiasm and why that happened. Umpire was walking towards the stump because he's on the offside. He's at point instead of square leg. Mackenzie to Reed. Short. Reed just pushing it back down the pitch on the offside, and Mackenzie feeds to his own bowling. Steths 26 without loss and reply to Excelsior's 127 all out. Mackenzie again. Reed is driving that one straight into the hands of. This is unbelievable. I thought the man at mid off had taken it, but it burst through his hand into the boundary for four. A life again for Reed. Second time that he's been put down in his short innings. Should have been taken. But Steths and Humario Reed enjoying the chances that they have been given. That looked like a certain catch. That looked like Reed would have been on his way to the pavilion. But he got alive. Mackenzie again to Reed. Reed pushing that back down the pitch. Mackenzie feeds to his own bowling. Reed again to face Mackenzie. Mackenzie coming forward, not electing to drive over the top this time because he almost gave away his wicket. The end of the over. Steths replying 30 without loss.
So at the end of over number 8, Steths 30 without loss.
That was Tyreek Brad going forward, getting an inside edge, going down to fine leg, and they come through for two.
Well done, well done.
First delivery of Scott, second over. Steths now 32 without loss. No shot offered by Brian. Scott again. Shot and Brian is banging that one into the covers. It bounces off the fielder. They go through a quick single. Here comes the return. But Reed is home. The return was to the keeper's end. But Humaro Reed, got in safely. 33 without loss. Steths in reply to Excelsior's 127 all out. Reed just played that one easily into the hand of short leg and is on his way back to the pavilion. Got two chances and that delivery just pushed it into the hands of the man at short leg and he's on his way. So Steths have lost their first wicket. Reed caught a short leg of the bowling of Scott for 14. So Steths, they are 33 for 1.
So Excelsior with their first wicket. Tomorrow Reed caught 14. Score is 33 for 1. Steths.
So the incoming batter is Dimitri Baines, the incoming batter, has been the mainstay of Steths batting for a number of matches. Once he gets off, Baines, sorry. Ordained Baines. You have two Baines, Dimitri Baines and Ordained Baines. So Ordained Baines is the man who is going to face the music, so to speak. Baines has been the mainstay of Steths' batting. One would want to think that the middle order is very, very brittle. And these two, Brian and Baines, in that T20 final against Manchester, they were chasing 170 yards, they were 130 yards for one, and eventually lost by about 12 runs. So if these two can bat for very long, they should be able to overhaul the total. Should be able to overhaul Excelsior's total of 127 all out. So they have a slip, a backward square leg, a mid wicket to mid on, a point cover, and a man at mid off for Baines. He played that one into the offside and wasn't in any difficulty. It wasn't going for any single. Scott again to Baines. Easily forward.
Coming and playing here. Coming and playing it. Check on him.
So it's the end of the over. 33 for 1. Yamaro Scott, first wicket. Caught of the bowling of. That's Reed, caught of the bowling of Scott for 14. Mackenzie again to Brian. Brian is comfortably forward, down on the offside. The bowler picks up. Forward goes Brian. Into the mid-off region. No run coming. Mackenzie again. Shot and is placing that into the offside. They go through for a quick single. Fielder didn't pick up. Pretended as if he had the ball in hand, but he just didn't pick up and they were able to go through for another single. That is 34 for 1. Steths in reply to Excelsior's 127 all out. And he's bowled him forward. It goes. This is unbelievable. Baines got bowled the middle stump on a forward defensive shot from Mackenzie. Absolutely nothing happened there for him. And he didn't spend much time on the crease. He bowled for 0. Steths now are in a little bit of bother. They are 34 for 2. And one would think that with Baines not at the wicket to bat with his captain, Steths is going to be finding himself in problems. Excelsior have so far employed 3 spinners and they have been successful. Shahiri Jadu. He's the new batter. Seems as if Steths want to make a mountain out of this 127. Not sure how they must play the spinners. Let us see if Jadu can stay there with his skipper and get us close to this 127 as they try to overhaul it. Can't afford to lose any more wickets. Two down to 34. Jadu back playing that down to the point area. No run. That was close. There's an appeal for LBW decision in favor of Excelsior, but the umpire said not out. So the decision went in favor of Steths instead. Spinners are going to be appealing for everything now because Steths is under a little bit of pressure. Excelsior lost their first wicket at 44. Steths theirs went at 34, 33, and now they got only one since the loss of Vince because Vince didn't trouble the score at all. The skipper is going to have to make use of any loose bowling because the spinners they seem to be on target. Scott made top score for Excelsior. Now he's coming. He's got a wicket. Here comes now. Shot outside the off stump. It goes. Right foot out there by skipper Tyreek Brown for Steths, offering no shot. Binns again bowling around the wicket to the left-hander. Just with a slip on the short leg. Trip and Brian is driving that one into the leg side. Can't beat the fielder. No run coming from that. Scott is still persisting with that short leg. That is where he got rid of the right-hander. Now to bowl to Tyreek Bryan, the left-hander. Bryan is leaving that outside the off stump. Scott again short outside the off stump. Scott to Bryan, leaving that alone. Scott seems to be bowling off break, but the left-hander is pitching it on the uh, on his off stump, so he's just allowing that one to go. That one is played down into the point area, and the no run. The end of Scott's over. Stats now 34 for 2.
That open us. Yeah.
Stats will have to realize that even though it's a small total of 127, the Excelsior bowlers they are on target. Spin bowlers are not many schoolboys nowadays know how to approach spin bowling. First delivery from Mackenzie to Jadu played into the square leg region. They thought about a single, but changed their mind because the fielder was quickly onto it. 34 for 2 Steths. Mackenzie to Jadu. Jadu is trying to get that one to the leg side, going back. And the spectators are not happy with that attempt. Should have gone forward. Lucky for him, it was missing leg stump. So Mackenzie must be confident now that he has the batter in serious trouble. Comes again. This time he comes forward, playing it into the outside. Thought about a single, but the skipper sent him back. That's Tariq Brown, the skipper of Steths, who opened the innings with Yamara Reed. He sent back Jadu because that would have been dangerous. Mackenzie again to Jadu. Short. Coming forward. Riding that into the square leg area. Short square leg. And they can get no run. Mackenzie again and he's driving at his Jadu outside the off stump. Missing. Oohs and ahs from the fielders. The keeper whipped off the bails, but he had the back foot anchored. Jadu did. Mackenzie was coming in, stopped by the umpire. Comes back again. Ball to Jadu and he's tossed that one up outside the off stump. Jadu just went across, watch it. The end of Mackenzie's over. And the score now still on 34 for 2. Looks like 12 overs we have. How many overs do we have?
12.
So after 12 overs, Steths are 34 for 2. First delivery in this over from Scott had Brian going back and pushing it down the wicket. The short leg has come back in now. Scott. Brian is driving that over the head of the fielder into the boundary now at long off for 4. So that boundary should have eased the tension a little bit. Score goes up to 38 for 2.
A young cricketer.
Yes, but they have to learn to play spin. You have to learn to play that. When you can master it, then you're in a better position. Because I believe it is easier to play the pace. Scott to Brian, and Brian pushed the right foot out there and left that one alone and went to the keeper. Scott again, short, and Brian is playing that down to mid on. Thought it was going to go across to get it a little squarer into the mid wicket area, but he elected to just push it down to mid on and no run coming from that. Scott to Brian, short. Brian is coming forward, showing the full face of the willow. And Scott picked up, rubs it on his trousers, turns, passes the umpire. And that is played into the point region. No run, end of the over. And it looks like T. So at T, Steths in reply to Excelsior's 127 38 for 2. Not out batters
Alright, so tea
are
time.
Jadu and Tyreek Bryan,
Steths
and they will
38
return from tea
for
to
2.
try and overhaul this 127. Probably not, they'll not be able to do it this afternoon, but if they bat well, they can come back tomorrow morning and set up a partnership of Jadu and Bryan to see if they can overhaul this 127.